If you're planning a trip to southern Utah, odds are your itinerary is filled with a bucket list of hikes that you want to do on your own 2 feet. But what if I were to tell you that one of the best adventures you can do is not only not in one of the big 5 national parks in Utah, but it also doesn't involve your hiking boots at all? Today we're going off-grid in a 4x4 Jeep way beyond the popular trails of Bryce Canyon. You ready for today's adventure? Let's go. Hey, and welcome to today's episode of Explore This. I'm your host, Jen Ahana, where I love taking you off the beaten path to hidden gems in all the remote corners of this world. And today we're heading to southern Utah. Now, I've spent a lot of time experiencing Bryce Canyon, doing everything from hiking all the popular trails to going e-biking to horseback riding and really taking in the magical landscape of the hoodoos. But I want to actually take you to one of my most favorite hidden gems that go far beyond the big 5 national parks, just under an hour away from Bryce Canyon in the heart of Escalante. Escalante is one of those locations that people oftentimes think of after they've done the big 5. But I'm going to show you why I think this is one of the locations you should put on your first trip to southern Utah, because it is going to take you to hidden gems that are a little bit tough to get to, but that actually means fewer crowds. Now, one of the most magical things about Escalante is that even though it is close to Bryce Canyon, you are going to dip into completely different landscapes. But the first thing that's going to surprise you is this. When you go through Bryce Canyon, a lot of places you can easily access by paved roads, no problem. So you get comfortable thinking that all of southern Utah must be this way to get to the locations, right? Not even close. In Escalante, outside of a few locations like a couple of hikes that feature petroglyphs to areas like Lower Calf Creek and Upper Calf Creek Falls, which are phenomenal hikes, and you can get to those very easily no matter what vehicle you have, a multitude of the destinations in Escalante all start from a place called Hole in the Rock Road. This is a 62-mile one-way road that, to be called gravel, is kind, and it absolutely requires a proper 4x4 vehicle with high clearance. Do not even think about trying to do this road and to drive any section of it if you do not have anything other than a 4x4 vehicle. And I will tell you this because I personally made the mistake of doing just that, thinking I'd be confident enough in my all-wheel drive SUV to be able to get from point A to point B. But the problem is, when you go on Hole in the Rock Road, you're going to realize within a few miles that not only is this going to be gravel for miles and miles on end, you're going to look down at your Google map and you're going to wonder, why does it say that it takes 30 minutes to go 10 miles? Well, that's because you're going to have to go at such slow speeds because the road is filled with so many ruts, more than you could possibly count. So what I'm going to break down for you today is how you can have an amazing adventure on the Hole in the Rock Road, some of the most epic hidden gems that you could go to, and what's the best way to experience it by Jeep. This road runs from Escalante, Utah to the actual Hole in the Rock on the western shore of Lake Powell, following the general route of the original Hole in the Rock expedition. Most of the road is in Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, but the last 5 miles are within the boundaries of Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. Some sources will say that most of the road is passable with high-clearance 2-wheel drive vehicles, but I would not trust that information whatsoever, because the worst thing that can happen is you get out somewhere on the middle of this road and you realize your vehicle can't handle it, and then you have to turn back around, having not experienced any adventure whatsoever. So here's what you're going to do. Unless you own a Jeep or a proper 4x4 vehicle, you're going to go to Roam Adventures with their base camp right outside of Escalante. These guys actually have locations scattered throughout southern Utah, and they're an incredible guiding company that offer anything from epic Jeep adventures to UTV, ATV rentals, and to everything from guided hiking and rappelling tours in the area. Now, their Escalante outpost is one of their most recent locations, and it is conveniently located just a few minutes outside of the proper town of Escalante, where you can pick up a Jeep to rent for the day, and it is minutes away from the start of the Hole in the Rock Road. I love working with Roam because not only are they conveniently located, it's super easy to be able to book what you need with them for adventures. And if I had had the time, I would have done a lot more with them. But I'm so excited that I had an opportunity to use one of their Jeeps for the day to experience what it is like going on this terrain. I also want to add that using the Jeep happened literally one day after trying to take my own all-wheel drive vehicle out on the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 road. And that's not the only location you could go to. It just happens to be one of the best in Escalante. But first, let me break down how awesome this Jeep rental works. You get the opportunity to have the Jeep for the entire day. And most of the main locations in Escalante you're going to want to consider are within a matter of minutes to 30 to 45 minutes away. You can do anything from long scenic drives to areas like the Hell's Backbone, or you can spend your time on 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road and go to any one of the epic locations that are featured right along this area. I learned this the hard way, might I add, when I was thinking about going to places like 𝗷𝗶𝗲𝗏 Canyon, Spooky Canyon, Devil's Garden, the Cosmic Ashtray. Everything said it's 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road. And I thought, well, this is easy and convenient until you're a few miles into it. Just take a look so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. So what's great about this is that whether you're staying at Escalante or about 30 minutes away in the Bryce Canyon area, this is going to be such an easy place for you to access and a great way to spend the day that's a lot more off the tourist path. If you're going to go to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road, here are a couple of locations I would absolutely consider. First, 𝗷𝗶𝗲𝗏 Canyon. There are opportunities where you can go hiking in this canyon as well as do rappelling tours with the guys at Rome to help take you into incredibly narrow and gorgeous carved canyons. Another feature that you can go on 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road, if you are feeling a little bit less adventurous and just want to have something scenic to experience, is a place called Devil's Garden. It is about a half mile off the main 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road, and it's a series of these really beautiful and iconic rock formations that you can see with just a few footsteps after parking your vehicle. But if I were you, I would take advantage and cover as much ground as you possibly can and experience the pleasure of 4x4ing in a Jeep and not even focus so much on actually what's the hike or destination that you want to get to. But you could easily make a full day of it and spend like half the day hiking and another half of the day off-roading. One of my favorite locations that I went to was actually the Cosmic Ashtray using the 4x4 Jeep. And I am so grateful that I had this vehicle because the amount of ruts on this road that was an offshoot of the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Road, the roads were so rough, they reminded me of some of the time I spent on off-roads in the Icelandic Highlands before doing a 90-mile trek. And I will tell you, these roads were even more rough. But it made for such an amazing part of the adventure. Now, the Cosmic Ashtray, if you're not familiar with it, is one of these really beautiful rock formations where literally it is a huge basin of orange sand with this spire of rock coming out from the middle of it that I swear to you looks like it came from some type of alien base surrounded by gorgeous smooth sandstone. Now, if you look on all trails, you're actually going to see that the ways to hike to it take several miles in to get to this iconic landmark. But there's actually another way that you can get to it and cut your hike down to about 1.5 miles. I'll break this down more in another episode, but I want to give you a lay of the land on all of these cool, iconic locations that you can go to purely on this one road alone. But I think if you're going to do anything, enjoy driving a vehicle that is a beast. A vehicle that can literally take any kind of terrain you put it through. Take a look. This Jeep is a beauty. There was nothing more satisfying than feeling the tires crunch over the rocks and feeling the shocks get used as you're going up and down through the ruts. It makes you feel like a big kid. And if you know anything about me from following me on this show, you know that I absolutely love gear. I love gear so much that I actually built a gear closet that literally looks like a mini outdoor retailer shop with the display hangers and everything for my coats and backpacks because a girl can never have too many. So you can imagine how excited I got by having this big toy to play with for the day. Now, if you end up wrapping up your off-roading adventure a little bit early in the day and you've got some extra time, I would highly recommend while you're in Escalante, taking a second and heading over to 𝗘𝗵𝗵 Coffee House. This place has not only amazing coffee, it's tucked in an area with beautiful scenic views, and it is built as an actual 𝗘𝗵𝗏. So you really feel like you're stepping back in time and honoring the ancestors who used to live in this beautiful location. Now, what's great about working with Rum is two things. If you want to go ahead and book with them privately, you absolutely can, but they've built an amazing partnership with Clear Sky Resorts, located about 30 minutes away from Escalante, perfectly situated midway between Bryce Canyon National Park and this gorgeous location of Escalante, so you have an opportunity to access a lot of different adventures. If you choose to book your stay at Clear Sky Resorts, which I highly recommend, it's an incredible stargazing resort tucked in an 80-acre private oasis. They can help you with your adventures with Rum, whether that's renting one of their Jeeps, ATVs, or UTVs, or also an opportunity to do one of their guided hiking or rappelling tours, which I highly recommend, especially if you are looking at doing one of the slot canyons in the area. We did one of the hiking routes by ourselves with the 𝗶𝗵𝗄 and spooky slot canyons, and while it is something you can absolutely do by yourself, these slot canyons here in Escalante are no joke, and if you can have a guide to help you determine where to put your feet on slippery sandstone, I can't recommend it highly enough, as much as I love solo adventures. So it's a great opportunity to have a hidden gem adventure in the heart of Escalante, being able to play like a kid using a super Jeep.
Amazing.
And if you want to learn more about where I love to stay while I'm in Southern Utah, as well as a lot of the hidden gems that I like to do, anything from hikes to e-biking to horseback riding, make sure you check out my Southern Utah playlist where I'm going to break down all of those hidden gems for you. I'm your host, Ahana. Great to share this adventure with you today, and I'll see you out there.